Do you eat sugar-free chocolate? If you do, you might be interested in the questions we're covering today because we got a lot of questions about what I eat that's sweet and unplanned. We got some questions about how I handle last-minute dinners. So we're just gonna chat and I'm gonna answer those questions in the best ways that I can. First, to cover sugar-free chocolate. Yes, I eat it, but I don't eat certain kinds, even kinds that Trim Healthy Mama has said are okay. There are a few reasons for that. Some of them are really addicting to me and I really struggle. I've noticed that after all this time on plan, 10 and a half years on plan, over 5 years as a certified THM lifestyle coach, there are still foods that if I have a lot of them or even a little of them, I want to eat them all the time. But there are many foods that I just don't have cravings for anymore. But something that I struggle with personally is sugar-free chocolate. I will go nuts with it. So the ones that I will use is I use Lily's on occasion. It's not my favorite, to be honest, but I'll use it on occasion. I do like, Whole Foods has a new, I think it's new, it might've been around for a while. They have dark chocolate baking chips that are sugar-free, and you have to check the packaging, but it's high enough in dark chocolate that it's approved for THM, and they're really good. But the one that I don't like anymore, that has been used as a personal choice item on THM is Choc Zero. I love it so much. I went crazy with it for a while. And I experimented over a month. I do that on my own body all the time just so that I can help my coaching clients better. I gained weight with Choc Zero and it spiked my blood sugar. So I got a continuous glucose monitor for a while. Choc Zero was spiking my blood sugar as a candy bar used to. I haven't eaten a candy bar in many years, but definitely not worth it for me. I would stick to the Whole Foods dark chocolate chips, but my real strategy for beating sugar cravings is always having something ready. I like the JoJo's chocolate raspberry dream little dark chocolate pieces. Those are good. But I've noticed when I have a THM dessert at home, and this is part of the prep we cover in boot camp, if I have that at home, I am so much more likely to stay on plan. When I don't have anything ready, that's when I'm the most tempted, and when those kind of convenience items really impact me a lot. So when I am meal prepping, which is something that I was also asked to cover in this Q&A, meal prep does not have to take a lot of time. So if you've taken any of my classes or if you've been in boot camp with me, you know that I don't actually set aside specific time to meal prep. I don't do a day in the kitchen to get meals together. I don't do it. I don't have time for it. I have 5 kids and a bonus kid. I've got work. I have kids. Like now that I have teenagers, my oldest is 19, but when you have teenagers, you drive a lot. So I drive a lot. So I don't have a lot of time for meal prep days. So what I do instead is when I'm in the kitchen making dinner, I make an unrelated food item. I make brown rice in the Instant Pot. Even if we're having a nest dinner and I don't use it for that dinner, I save it for later. I usually on the weekend will make an S breakfast and an E breakfast, and I'll tell you right now, my go-tos are the easiest breakfast casserole. I believe that's from Trim Healthy Table or the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook, and I make the giant baked blueberry pancake that THM has. So easy to portion and serve, and then I can just alternate my S and E breakfast throughout the week for super quick meals. I was just talking to one of my coaching clients on the phone, and about this actually came up like 3 or 4 times last week, which is so funny because I think a lot of us kind of struggle with the same things at the same time, and that's why this upcoming boot camp is so focused on getting ready for this back to school busy season and having everything ready to go. But we were talking about how with these clients that if you don't have something ready, sometimes we don't eat breakfast on time, which if you've been in boot camp with me, you know why and how that is so important, and we focus so much on timing. We don't eat breakfast on time, or we don't eat it, or we reach for something off plan, or we reach for something quick and convenient, and we either end up with off plan foods or way too many Franken foods. And if you're especially dealing with stubborn weight, I want you to be focused on that, because that could be something that we just overdo way too often. But when you have something ready to go, when you've made something ahead, it makes it so much easier. So for example, on Friday night making dinner, I will make easiest breakfast casserole, put it in the oven. I'm already getting the kitchen dirty, already have to do dishes, might as well get that going. And then I just cool it while we're cleaning up and put it away for later that week, even for the next morning. Then the next day while I'm making dinner, I'll make an breakfast. Same thing. It's in the oven while I'm cooking dinner. Then I get to enjoy it throughout the week. Then at least once a week while I'm cooking dinner, the other thing that I always tend to do is, I would say almost always, I'll make a pound of bacon. If you haven't seen the Well Planned Kitchen's way for making bacon, you can find it at thewellplannedkitchen.com. Just search for bacon. I do it in the oven. It's so easy to clean up. It turns out perfect every single time, but I'll put a baking sheet with bacon in the oven. So easy, so fast. And then the other thing that I do is dessert. I will make a THM dessert. Now, it's not always an elaborate dessert, I will say that. Sometimes it's something like I'll make powdered packets, just the dry ingredients of my brownie batter in a mug recipe, which you can find at thewellplannedkitchen.com, or I gave Trim Healthy Mama permission to publish it in the Trim Healthy Table book, so you can find it in there too. Those powdered packets just make quick and easy brownie batter in a mug, and it definitely satisfies my chocolate cravings all the time. But I like to make the THM cakes and stuff. I don't do a lot of dairy. After all these years on plan, I've just learned what works for my body and what doesn't so much. And a lot of times if I have a good number of clients that I'm working with that are not doing dairy, I'll kind of do it in solidarity with them. And it just isn't something that serves my body especially well. If you're in boot camp, you'll know if you should be having dairy or not. But for some of us, it doesn't help a whole lot, especially if you've got stubborn weight. So when you have a dessert like a THM cake, sometimes I'll do that, but not too often because a lot of them have dairy in it. So sometimes I'm making like the Miracle Mousse makeover, or I make the Glucki puddings. That's my absolute favorite recommendation for a before bed snack. And since I have some blood sugar issues, having one of those before bed helps me sleep better too, which is really, really amazing. But getting that dessert going while I'm already doing something else just ensures that I've got something sweet that I can grab at the last minute. So meal prep is absolutely key, but you don't have to set aside a ton of time to do it. Another thing that can help you so much, and I will come back and drop links on this video for some of the resources I'm mentioning. I've been blogging about Trim Healthy Mama for almost 10 years, and since I've been a coach for more than 5, I have tons of free resources at thewellplannedkitchen.com that you can grab, so I'll drop links for those. If you're in boot camp with me, you get all of those on steroids plus a ton more, because in boot camp we over deliver everything you will need for your Trim Healthy Mama journey. But one of the things that helps a ton is making your bento boxes, your protein boxes. So what those are, I have tutorials and printables at thewellplannedkitchen.com for SE or FP. You take a bento box and you just make this beautiful little charcuterie board in a bento box, and then you keep it in your refrigerator. It takes me 5 minutes to do those. So I will just line up the boxes, assembly line. I like to do an S-style box, so I'll do like my favorite nuts, and when I'm feeling like spoiling myself, I use the Marcona almonds from Trader Joe's. They're so good, but you could get those anywhere, or any nuts that you like. A little bit of nuts, some berries, some dark chocolate or dark chocolate chips like those Whole Food ones I mentioned at the beginning of this video. I'll do some good deli meat or salami. If I'm having dairy, I'll put a really great cheese in there like Gouda or mozzarella. Oh, it's so delicious and it's so fast. So I make a big stack of those to keep in the refrigerator. The kids and I can just grab them and eat them as a snack or as a meal, depending on how much I put in there. But that's a really fantastic, easy, fast way to meal prep that just hardly takes any time. And then one of my other go-to meal prep options is getting your pantry baskets ready. So if you aren't in on the pantry basket system for THM, last minute meals in 5 to 15 minutes, you organize it and keep it all in your pantry. I wrote a whole book about it called The Perpetually Prepped Kitchen. If you're not doing that, that can save a ton of time and keep you on plan. If you are coming home last minute, no time to cook, grab your pantry basket and have dinner, a THM friendly dinner in under 15 minutes. So, and if you're in boot camp with me, you get that totally for free, that whole resource, and we'll talk about more ideas and all that too. So those are just some basic things, basic ways that you can meal prep. When you're in a hurry, that's one of the biggest things to troubleshoot with staying on plan for THM. That's when most people go off plan. And if you think about it, when you're out and you give into temptation, A lot of times it could be something that is just a mental game of, oh, I have this at home. I don't need that. I have this instead at home. And while you're adapting to the THM process, and for some of us, it's not adapting to the process initially. For some of us, it's an issue of, I've been on plan for this many years and I'm getting sloppy about it. And that happens to a lot of people. And I've had, I think, over 2,400 people come through boot camp, women just like you who've just needed some help and that extra boost to reach their goals. One of the top things we cover is being prepared for all situations, so you're not as tempted to go off plan and you have something ready at all times, no matter what. So if you are at home and just thinking, okay, I am going off plan every week, really take some time to troubleshoot what are the circumstances when you're going off plan. Is it really just giving into temptation? And then if you find that you're doing that, you can troubleshoot those things and set up systems. Bootcamp is all about Trim Healthy Mama systems and habits to make the journey so much easier. But when you're thinking about those things, I also don't want you to beat yourself up. It does not serve us to just come down hard on ourselves and say, I can't do this. I have worked with so many people who come to me and say, I can't do this, and that is not true. Yes, you can. There is no reason that you can't. And we'll go through the tools and systems in bootcamp to help you make it a lifestyle and make it permanent, something that you can do for the long haul and help you reach your goals. But when you're at home right now and you're thinking through, okay, what habits am I in? What thought processes am I dealing with that are making it so easy to go off plan? Put stumbling blocks in your path. For me, if I've already made something that's at home and waiting for me, that's delicious, that I put time into, that I put money into, I'm gonna be way more likely to have that than to choose to go off plan. So think about where you can put stumbling blocks down to going off plan to make it easier on yourself. Thanks for joining me today. I will be I'll be posting all of those links and letting you all know where you can find those resources. And I hope you have a great day.